What is up? Welcome, welcome. Welcome, everybody. Nick, what's up? Christian, how are you, buddy? Welcome, everybody. We got a fun stream for you today. I have barrel cam footage for the first time in a very long time. It's actually sad because I had actually recorded barrel cam footage from our previous practice, but there was something wrong with like the micro USB card or whatever it was, micro SD. Eric, what's up? Welcome. Yeah, there was something wrong with like the micro SD, so it just wasn't working, and I wanted to focus on practice since it had been the first time in a while since I practiced. So anyway, finally, I have some barrel cam footage. Bro, where's the stash? Don't worry, the stash is coming back. It'll be here for ICC. I just couldn't. It was long enough that I couldn't keep it that way for up until, you know, for the next 2 weeks. It was just way too long. So it will be back. I will have it. But anyway, so I do have some barrel cam footage today. That's what we're going to review in this video. If you guys are watching this on the YouTube video, as always, I really do appreciate the likes on this video. And if you guys are in the stream right now, you should click the like button. There is no reason not to. It helps me out a lot. It also spreads the video because of the YouTube algorithm. So please do that. If this is at least your second video watching me, please subscribe. I really do appreciate that. If this is like your 10th video of mine, I don't even know if I have 10 videos, to be honest. If this is the 10th video you're watching and you feel like you've learned a lot, please consider becoming a member. You can click the join button down below. There's 2 different types of tiers you can look at, and it does help me out a lot. It lets me focus my time and attention more on this. So anyway, without wasting any more time, so firstly, we're going to look at some barrel cam footage. I do have a little bit of side cam footage. The purpose of this stream and video is going to be reviewing just reviewing the videos and talking about my thought process. So I know that I get a lot of questions rather on my Discord server about, hey, like, when do I look on the inside of the field when I'm playing Snake? When do I look heads up? You know, when do I cross? When do I not? So on and so forth. So I'm going to share with you at least what little footage I have and some of the decisions that I'm making, and hopefully that will help you get a better picture of that. But when we go to talk about the CEPL and the EPL layouts after this in the next videos, then I will talk a little bit more about that. So because it's not super straightforward, obviously it's very contextual and also very layout specific. So oh goodness, here comes me. Dude, I actually don't think I have that. I actually don't think I have that clip. And there are a few clips that aren't in here that didn't make it for some reason, so I'm not sure why that's happened. So anyway, let's get into it. 1 second. So actually, I'm going to do it I need to do it in the opposite order that I have it here now. So give me just a second. We're going to start with the barrel cam footage, and we'll go from there. So by the way, this is Conquer's Bad Fur Day, excuse me. If you guys ever played that game, you know it's the best. So okay, let's turn this down for a second and get this going. First point recorded. The TM40 Mech frame shoots nice, though. It does. It absolutely does. My only issue is mine's not aligned, it seems. So it's, you know, it's still kind of got a leak, which I got to fix. But okay, the first of this is so we're using a grid system, right? Because we're preparing for ICC. So that's something to pay attention to here. I just called that Dorito the 420. So if you were to look at a layout left to right and imagine that there's 5 lanes on a layout, the very far left is 1 all the way over to 5. And so it's a bit, you know, in the case where you're playing on a layout and using it for the first time, it's a bit of a guess, but we ultimately determined that first Dorito is the 420. We're playing on a Lone Star layout, but it's a little bit jerry-rigged because we don't have all the bunkers and some of them got holes. So just keep that in mind. So at this point, the other thing to say is that we have 7 people on the field. Anywhere between 7-on-7 and 6-on-6, so it's not 5-on-5, and therefore, like, the standard, you know, it might be obvious, and you might think to yourself like, oh, you're the number 2 because the number 1's right in front of you. I don't know what I'm at. I don't know what I am because there's also a guy right next to me and there's like a dude right behind me. So there's people all over the place. But my whole idea of coming here, I'm not going to pause it too much, I promise. My whole thought process in here is I don't want anybody to be too far away from my front player, because if he dies, we lost all the ground that he took. So I want to do what I can to be as close to him and support him and make sure that people can't fill out wide. So right now, the farthest they are in the field is at this Dorito. So I want to keep them there as much as I can. Can't wait to try my Ant Mech frame. Dude, the Ant Mech frame is awesome.
420 is the lightest, Dylan.
Dude, Mech is actually super fun. So I'm trying to let... I'll stop talking here for a second. Dude, those are so close, man. So the first thing I want to point out here, and again, I promise I'm not going to start and stop too much. But the biggest thing I want to point out here is that I didn't put shots where I thought he was going to be, even though I knew that he was going to be there, or I thought he was going to be there. That if you want to increase your effectiveness at gunfighting, you should always put paint where you think they're going to be. You should not shoot just because you saw them there. So at this point, what I'm trying to do is just make sure, again, that he doesn't fill any wider than this Dorito, and that's on me if he does. So even though we're playing Mech, I'm trying to do as much as I can to shoot as much paint to stop this guy and being accurate. But I'm also very curious and very particularly concerned about this little angle right here on the inside of the Dorito. So obviously I can see everything right here. I can put shots up and down all day, but this shot is the one that will surprise me if I'm not careful. So I'm just periodically trying to put paint here to make sure that he doesn't just take that shot for free, all the while trying to be aware that there's an inside guy at the can that's also going to be shooting at me. So I need to just make sure to stay alive while I keep this guy from moving out wide. And so long as the person in front of me is alive, we should win the point because of his positioning. Doing barrel cam this weekend for Woods Ball. I'm actually going to do a head cam video just because barrel cam for Woods doesn't work very well since a lot of the times your gun's down. But yeah, I will do some recording of that.
420! 410!
This better not suck. Dude, Brock, you know with me it's always going to suck. You should know that by now.
Hey, 01! Hey, Tiger the 420! Tiger the 420!
So I don't know what this is.
410!
I ended up calling it the 410 because the 300 or the 310 is technically the back center. So it's kind of like, again, it's kind of janky because this lane is quite big, but
410!
So I'll talk about it after. Best barrel cam setup is a GoPro of some sort with an Inception Designs barrel mount. So you may have noticed that I got shot. Is this the last point? Oh, I'm going in the wrong order. Oh, this is the last point of the day. So I actually watched this video back and realized what the mistake was, and you'll actually hear it. So I'm not going to watch this whole thing again, but at the very beginning of the point, I think somewhere around here, you'll hear me call the 150.
420!
I think it's when I get to this next bunker. And you can see, right, the guy right in front of me is rapping super hard, right?
Tiger one out of the hole!
Maybe I don't call it here. Maybe it was at the very, very beginning.
Hey, 150!
150. So right there. So the 150 in this case is the 50 on the opposite side of the field, right? Very far left side of the field. There is a guy at the 50. Now, it had been a long time since anybody had called it, but I needed to make sure that that was clear before I decided to move up. Now, obviously, I could have slid, you know, I could have prevented my death if I just probably slid into here. But as you can see, this snake beam is super sad. So I didn't think I thought that we were blowing open the point on this side of the field. I didn't think I needed to worry about it. But there was still the guy in the 150. So the thing I learned from this was just, I mean, again, always make sure that if you remember hearing a bunker that was very scary, you know, the 50 snake in this case, or the 150, always make sure to ask, is the 150 still hot? Is the 150 still hot? Okay. Let's go to, we're going to start over here then. This is the beginning of the day. So the point starts right in the middle, right after the breakout rather.
550! Are you sure, Isaac?
So 550 would be this bunker.
I think we tigered one. I think we target the 550.
Yeah, and you can see a guy walking off the side.
Hey, Isaac, go to the tower to your right. Tight, play tight. You're clean.
So I'm calling him clean because I don't see any obvious markers, but you can actually see and this isn't intentional. You can actually see right here, maybe, I don't know, enhance. I probably can't zoom in. You can actually see that there is a little bit of a hit on him. So
You're clean. You're clean.
I think I should have called him out, but he was getting really, really close. Little mech paintball action, absolutely.
150. 150. Hey, caution to Seattle. 310. 150. Hey, Tiger 2.
So one of the things that obviously is going to make this experience playing mech a bit different than what it's obviously going to be at ICC or in any other sort of situation is that we're playing on a five-man field essentially with 7 people. So there's not a whole lot of room for me to move. And so the question I was asking myself is like, what am I most valuable for? Like, what in this situation am I going to provide the most value doing? And in my opinion, the answer to that is to communicate as much as I can, keep my head up, and try to communicate and essentially play the quarterback in this point.
Stay alive. Dylan, stay alive. 420. That's the Dorito 1. 420. Hey, hold the Dorito 1.
Guys, my son is going down to bed. I'm going to actually say goodnight, but I am going to put us in a BRB. I'm going to put us in a BRB screen. So I will be right back. Please enjoy the music. I will be right back. I promise. Give me just a second.
Maestro, don't you think that's a little bit too dramatic? Can you give me something with a bit more of a beat? Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Sorry about that. That'll definitely be cut out in the YouTube video. Thanks, guys, for your patience. Appreciate it. My son's not feeling very well. Excuse me, he has a fever today. So, okay, back to it. Back to it.
3. Hey, possible Tiger 4. Hey, what about the 150? I'm not sure. One, 220, Tiger 4.
Yes, Supreme PB. Eric's correct. Yeah.
Hey,
Is that Eric?
Three bodies. Hey, we gotta push this right side. Hey, 420, 420.
So one thing to pause here really quick on is also for you back guys, you 2s and 3s. This is something I learned at the Ryan Greenspan clinic, I'm pretty sure. And actually, he talked about this in the Paintball Combine as well that I went to in like 2022 or no, 2020. But a lot of times, especially when you're used to playing a front player, when you move back further into the field, you're not used to telling people what to do or to like coordinate the field, right? A lot of times as a back player, and this is true for me too for a long time, what I'm primarily saying to my teammates is the bunker calls, which direction they're looking. I might tell people like, hey, I got you. I'm behind you. I'm on this guy. I'm doing this thing. But there's an extra layer that you need to incorporate if you want to play at a high level, which is that you need to tell people what to do. So if, for example, you see that one side of the field is completely blown out and your team's pushing super hard on that side, let's say it's the snake side, and you've got a guy in the front Doritos that you can see who's kind of getting a little antsy and gunfighting a lot, you need to be able to tell that guy, hey, chill, snake side's pushing, or, and you know, have a call out that you can use to tell people which side of the field has the ball, essentially. It's a very common call out, but for us is salsa and disco. Salsa's for snake, disco's for Dorito. So if I look over to my Dorito guy and say like, hey dude, chill, salsa, then all I'm really trying to tell him is like, hey man, calm down, don't die recklessly. We're gonna win this point as long as we don't mess up on the Dorito side, because our snake side's going to win us the point. And you have that vantage point being in the far back of the field. And so that's something to pay attention to, that as you hear me calling out, that's kind of what I'm trying to do in some cases. So
420, possible Tiger 5. 420's on the inside, Dylan. Tiger the 420. Tiger 5 at least.
And again, there's 7 people on the field. So if you hear me say Tiger 5 or Kill 5, in other words, we're playing 7 on 7. So is that point? This one's kind of fun. So I'm not going to pause it. You'll see. So one of the things that I've talked about for front players that's really important is whenever you take your bite to get to your either primary or secondary. So like let's say for example you're running to the Dorito 1, you're running with your gun down, you dive into the Dorito 1. The very first thing you should do is own whatever real estate is essentially free to you, okay? So in the case where you're playing a heads-up battle where both the Dorito 1s can see each other, your free real estate is not necessarily the guy that's in front of you, okay? The free real estate is anything to the left of him or anything to the right of him or just anything past the bunker that he went to, right? So you can start shooting paint into whatever landing zone might exist past that bunker. Now, the better thing to do, the thing that pro players do, high-level players do, is that when they run to those bunkers, they keep their head down, downfield, so that when they dive, they can see if they're beating the guy in front of them, okay? And depending on how effectively you dive, how quickly you get up into a gun-ready position, that can determine also if you can own that real estate in front of you for free. And when you get to a high level of paintball, that's what you have to do. So when you are playing semi-pro, D2 even, and you dive into that bunker, you need to try and beat the guy that's straight heads up, okay? And you need to be fast enough that you can either have a ball sent down range either before he's out of his bunker, or that you guys are matching each other at least, so that you can see the ball coming at you and you can dodge it. If you're too slow, if you don't run fast enough, and you don't have effective movement when you slide or dive or whatever, and it takes you too long to get in a gun ready position, then by the time you're ready to come out of your bunker, you're half a second to 1 second too late. And I'm telling you, that's the difference in some cases. And so that by the time you come out of your bunker, there's already a ball coming right at you. And so for some of you guys who've played the front position, either the snake or the Dorito, it's mostly applicable to the Dorito. But when you get into that bunker and you've come out and there's a ball right ready for your face, that's because that's what's happening, right? And so the best thing you can do is work on your sliding, work on your basic like mechanics, and work on having efficient movement when you're getting set up in a gun ready position. Because what I'm trying to do in this case is to shoot whoever might be going to the snake, or who decided to go to the corner for whatever reason. And then as soon as I own whatever's in front of me, and I know that there's nobody in the snake, right? Which I'm pretty sure nobody got into the snake, but I could be wrong because it took me a minute. I actually don't know if I know that. Then what I try to do is essentially slice off whatever part of the field I can control from there. So that if I know, I need to know who the widest guy is so that I can start battling that person and keeping them contained as best I can.
210.
So
410, 210.
Also, there is a snake. There is a snake.
150, 150. 02.
So
Brandon, you got
I'll
my
talk
tape?
about it after.
Brandon, watch my tape. Brandon, you still with me? And watch him right.
So one thing to pause to talk about really fast here as well is, I know there's a guy in the 50 snake. He's going to chop up our entire team if I don't do something, but I also have the safety net of Brandon behind me, which Brandon, I'm sorry, dude, but you let this guy run me down. I'm so upset about that. But regardless, if in this situation I didn't have Brandon behind me, I would need to take a much more aggressive and proactive role at fighting that guy right in front of me. I am in an uncomfortable position compared to that player, but I don't have to try to run him down because I've got Brandon behind me. The only issue is at this point, if our right side of the field doesn't stay tucked in, that guy's going to chop them up. So that's the only issue that's kind of pressing our decision making. We need to do something about that, or we need to let them know. We need to tell them to play tight, whatever the case is. And I'm looking, you can't see, but I'm looking to the right of me to see who's died because they got to the 50 or whatever. But because Brandon is in the corner, I don't have to gunfight this guy to my death. I can let Brandon protect me and try to contain the other side of the field while he does. And then there will definitely reach a point where like we have to come up with some way to dig him out. But a lot of times when people get to the 50s and you're this close to each other, people get really uncomfortable and they feel that they have to gunfight to their death essentially, which is not always the case. This is kind of what I've talked about in the past, where you need to have intelligent gunfighting. You need to think, does this gunfight make sense? Do I need to be risking my body here?
Tiger 102. Tiger 102. Hey, I think we killed the 150.
Nope. Oh, we killed one guy in the 150. That's right.
I think it's Tiger 2. Possible 150 still. Hey, who do we got on the right? Huh? Oh, on our side. Hey, 150 still.
So I can see paint coming in from the inside of the field, which means that I have to find that guy before I can take this big bite, which from this Dorito to the next is quite big. It's actually, it feels pretty lopsided. It's not quite equal to the other side of the field. So if I can get to that Dorito 2 that's right in front of me, I'm in a much better position to protect myself than I am here.
Hey, 03. Okay, hey, caution the middle.
And I'm not getting any intel as to what's happening on the Dorito. I do suspect that there's a guy in this Dorito right here, which if they had taken the bite much earlier, I would have been dead. I would have gotten dug out immediately. But I suspect that there's somebody there because I feel like I see the bunker moving, but I'm not quite sure. So that's the guy that's... The guys in the wide Doritos are going to kill me. So you can't see it. I got ran down. Brandon looked on the inside. But the biggest thing, the biggest takeaway from that is, like, don't panic when people are super close to you. Figure out if you have anybody who can watch over you and protect you. And if you don't, you need to win what's in front of you. You need to fight that guy in front of you. I have a little bit of a leak, so that's what you can hear.
All right, looks like... I call it, guys. 5 seconds. Looks like Genie. Who's going up the middle? Dorito runner. Dorito runner. Hey, Tiger Timmy! Tiger 1!
So the game plan for me was to get up to this Seattle, is what we're calling it, as soon as I can. And at this point, the only person who's stopping me is the home guy. Because what I'm trying to do is prevent their entire progression on the Dorito side. The problem is that the angles are... I'm not trying to blame the layout because we were playing on it. I needed to know this. I needed to just play accordingly. But the problem with the way the layout is set up is that if I get here and we also have a guy in this 50, we all just get chopped up. Which maybe even if true, which might have even been true for the actual layout itself, but our middle is a very hack job version of the Lone Star layout, so it made it a little trickier. But
510, 310. Hey, 150, 150, 150. Hey, Tiger 2, kill 150. Tiger 2. Hey, 110.
Yeah, apparently it just has enough of a leak that we'd have to inflate it probably once every 2 points, and we didn't have anybody who was grabbing the bunker or grabbing the fill. But yeah, you're absolutely right. We just said hell with that snake beam being aired up, huh? So
Tiger 3 still alive.
So the mistake that was made was that when I got to that bunker, so the containment, I mean, I don't want to get too specific into the Lone Star layout, but the containment of the snake, if you guys remember, is essentially that wedge that's kind of on the opposite side of the field that you look across to that from that gap, right? The snake 2 to the 50. The same can be done, at least in this layout, from the snake tower. So my problem was that I was too focused on fighting the Dorito side heads up instead of containing the snake on the opposite side, which is the kill side on this field. So that by the time I got up to the 50 and still didn't look that way, I just got absolutely chopped up. But Mech is hella fun. I got a 3M and LV2 on its way. Oh, nice. I got a 3M and LV2 is on its way. That's awesome. So this point, what I wanted to do was to leapfrog from the corner into the snake, which I knew the corner was a spot that you could easily get stuck in. But there are times where I just want to see how things work, especially at practice, like who cares. But my thought was I could blind out most people except for the Dorito. And the problem was, in this particular point, my paint was not going anywhere and I was fighting Sage. So there's no way between those two things, I was not going to get out of this situation. I had to have... The only shot I had was if my paint was accurate, because then I can gun battle Sage. We do all the time, but you can see my paint. Look at this. One more time for the people. Look at this. Look, watch my paint. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. I don't have a squeegee on me either, so there's no way I can battle Sage in this situation. But I did get clipped there. And the other thing too, the reason I wanted to watch this clip, even though that's pretty much the point, is that one of the things that I wanted to point out, which I made the mistake of doing in some cases, is that so in actual like CQB house clearing tactics, which I'm not going to pretend to know much about, but I have watched a few things. Ron King has told me quite a bit, which he used to be either SWAT or I know he's police. I don't know if he's SWAT, but is that you want to slice the room, right? You're essentially pieing the corner that you can control. Okay, so you're slowly peeking because this is real life. These are, you know, in their case, they're using real guns. So you don't want to overexpose yourself, right? Because you don't know where your opponents are. You don't know what the enemy is. And so in this case, what the mistake that paintball players make often is they'll do the same thing where they'll start to slice the field because they don't know where people are at. And all that ends up looking like for the other guys is to see a barrel just slowly eking around the corner until you get to the point where they can either shoot your hopper or they can shoot you in the face. And so if in this case, when I'm starting to try to assess what's going on in the center of the field because I have no idea, I know that Sage knows where I'm at. I know I'm getting shot at. So I have to be mindful of that I can't just challenge from the same angle that I'm already shooting from. So I know that in this case, he can see probably the tip of my barrel. Right, and I don't have very much room to go, so I can't really do much about that. But if I were to take this angle right here, shoot some paint, and then wrap even further on the inside of the field to challenge him, he would just have a ball ready for me. So I have to take some kind of different angle, even if it's slightly different. So that's just something to be aware of for anybody that's wanting to learn, like, you know, heads up tactics and stuff, gunfighting tactics, which I will talk about in a different video sometime in the future. But it's that you just want to be very careful of, like, can somebody see where my paint's traveling? And if so, you know, if the guy that I'm fighting is aware of that, what can I do to surprise him? And this is very little. This is something very little I could do, but it was something. And even still, you know, it wasn't a big enough angle for me to not get hit, right? So it's clear no one there owns a leaf blower. We do. How do you think we filled it up? The issue is that it's a player run field, so it's a privately owned, privately held player run field. So you know, you can guess how well that goes sometimes.
I'm gonna go in front of you.
I don't know why the paint was so squirrely for me that day, but even now it's still pretty squirrely.
120! 120! Hey, watch the 150! Hey, 66! Tiger 1!
So I knew that we were 67 this point, so we only have 6 people, they have 7. He said 66. That's actually all. In some cases, that's all you really need to say, depending on where you got the Tiger, if it was off the break or not. So I've said this before, but if you get a kill off the break as people are running, they're obviously not in any sort of bunker. And so if you just simply call kill 1 or Tiger 1, it's great to know that you're up 1 body, or maybe you're equal. But if you don't know where that kill came from, it's very difficult to do anything with that information. And so, as I said before, it's helpful to have a Lucy or Ricky call, which in that case is left or right, Ricky being right, Lucy being left. And so if you say Lucy, you instantly know you tigered somebody out of the left side of the field. If you say Ricky, you know you tigered somebody out of the right side of the field. So if you were to say, like, let's say 5-man, okay, you're playing 5v5. If you were to say Lucy 54, that means you've tigered somebody. You don't need to say Tiger 1, but you certainly can say Tiger 1. But Christian said 66, which automatically means we got a Tiger, because now we're equal in bodies. And so I'm calling Tiger 1 just as a way to reinforce that I'm telling Christian essentially I know that we're Tiger 1. I just don't know where the body's out of. Any specific reason why they were able to make it to the 150 so quick every game? It's because our layout was not at all how the Lone Star layout was made. We have our field gridded, but I don't know if we just didn't care to set up the field with much precision this time around. I didn't set up the field. I'm a big stickler on being very accurate with how we set up our fields. But it was really, really bad. It was super bad. So the reason they're getting there is because the angles that we have are not the same as what the actual Lone Star layout is, and it's a super big hack job. So, oh, I know exactly how that goes, lol. My team had to put a layout up for one time for me at the field, and I had to redo 90% of it. I'm super anal about speedball, my speedball field though. Well, I am too. And the thing that's really frustrating is that like some of it seems pretty obvious to me, but like you should never have your fill flaps facing down range. Like these little fill flaps should never be facing down range. They should either be facing towards the closest side of the field, or they should be facing side to side, like on the outsides of the of the field, depending on if like you're a pin, for example, that's kind of in the center. But it's just so funny to me that like we literally had a Dorito. We had a Dorito that was set up. So you see this thing right now, like this Dorito right here. So this is the back of the Dorito, right? In every case, doesn't matter how you rotate it. This is always the back. Okay. We had this side of the bunker as the back of the Dorito, which it is not. Those are not the same angles because this curves towards a point in the front, and this is a lateral kind of, you know, angle of the Dorito. Anyway, so I kept saying to myself, like, when I get to this Dorito, why is it that I feel so uncomfortable to the 50 on the right side of the field? And it's like, oh, it's because this isn't even placed remotely correct. So yeah, never should be facing downfield. No, I've owned a field before, so see, just validating my point.
Get out! I killed the one.
I needed to say kill the 150. There we go. Took me way too long. Also, the only reason I'm not moving, that was kind of a bit of a, we kind of went over that quickly. It doesn't really need to be talked about much, but as soon as I get that kill, I need to be immediately finding where the next guy is that's stopping me and then take the bite if not. That was the biggest mistake I was making, and I just wasn't getting any information as to where they were. We were all kind of trying to mess with the you know, lane calls, and it was making it a little difficult. So
Hey, bro. Yeah. That's it. Good shot.
So if you can believe it, me and that guy traded. I can't believe I hit him. I can't believe it. So watch this one more time. I hit this dude. That one ball I shot, I hit.
Hey, bro.
This is... It's HK. I can't remember if it's select or premium or whatever it's called. It's the lighter blue cases. I think it's select. I'm not sure.
Because the guys behind me didn't know.
That's Christian, by the way. I think it's their mid-tier paint. I could be wrong. So if level 3 is that, then yes. But it's a decent fill. I mean, it's a decent ball. It's just that it was very dimpled because it was so hot. So when like we were shooting mech, but I was loading 4 pods. But it would take me essentially 4 games to run through all of those pods. And so by the time the heat had a chance to cook it, it just wasn't. The paint was just super dimpled. So it wasn't the paint out of the bag was fine. We had chilled paint too, like came from a nice AC'd house, so. Oh, lasering him. So the only reason I'm not, for some of you who have like seen me go over bunker calls and layouts before, you'll know that like our snake side is called Arizona. And so if there's nobody in the snake lane, we call that Arizona, or in this case, it would be like the 500, right? That entire wide lane. If there's nobody there, we call Arizona to give the guy in front of us the knowledge he needs to go. But the zones don't really work in this layout. Because unless we decide that Arizona is always the right and Iowa is always the left, it felt kind of uncomfortable to call Arizona. And so I kept saying 420 is the widest, but you should have a call that tells you like either Charger, Dragon, whatever you decide to say, right? Y'all just playing a backyard. Yeah, this is a private field. This is some property. This is some property of a people that live close to Terry and Al, the owners of the team. Talk to me, Goose. I don't think Kristen's still in the chat, but we were simulating grabbing the flag and running back. So certified sniper. How do you guys fill air? We have a compressor. Like it's a legit, I mean, you can see like we've got a home and away netting. That's all staging. We usually, if we do scrimmages, we have the entire sideline covered in tarps with staging and stuff. So yeah, we can either take them home and fill them at the house close by, or but we do have a compressor on site. So yeah, private field is really nice. So it has its ups and downs. Biggest down, I would say, well, it's a trade-off. It's not a down, but we don't spend as much to play at the cost of us having to take care of our own field, because it's our field, right? And so you have to essentially get everybody in on, you know, the biggest churn, or the biggest reason we have so much churn in Bro Army is because of that very thing, that people don't understand that we own this field. So we're responsible for taking care of it. And you can obviously see the bunkers are super haggard, but this will be we're coming up on 6 years of owning these bunkers. And so I think we plan to buy a new field next season, but you know, when we play, we have to fill it up. We have to, you know, stake the bunkers down. We have to clean them off, deflate them, everything. And so we usually have to give like an hour and a half on both ends of practice to do all of that. And so we usually are getting the field at like, in some cases during the summer, sorry, I got to pause this. In some cases during the summer, we're showing up to the field at like 7 o'clock, 6:30. I live an hour away from this field, so I'm waking up at 5:30 some days. 6 o'clock is usually the latest I wake up. And then, yeah, we get home probably around 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock some days, depending on if it's summer or whatnot. 420, Brock, you're absolutely right. I'll read your thing in a second.
210 is the widest. Will, stay alive. Will, wrap.
So, oh,
Will, wrap. Will, wrap. No, the other way.
So it might be obvious to some of you, but like the thing I've talked about so many times is that when you get far up on the field, you should get those kills on the inside that are essentially free to you, and then you should wrap on the outside, right? The problem is I can't move. I can't make any progress on the field until Will, who's in front of me, decides to wrap and do something about this guy in front of me. Because if I go to the Dorito, I don't know the angle super well because of the layout being super janky. But there are some layouts in which if I try to get closer to Will, so that if he dies, we don't lose that much ground, I might actually lose the angle on this guy right here. And the only way that I don't lose that angle is if he takes it over from me by wrapping. And so when he wraps, all of a sudden I'm free to do whatever I want. I have this huge cushion right here of play where I can move either straight up, I can come on the outside, I can start pressuring these guys on the inside of the field if I want, but I can't do that until this guy is being contained by him, which he should be doing that. So as soon as you get far up to the field, score the free kills, shoots net, you know, as they say, shoot necks, packs, and backs, as Rusty Glaze says it. But after that, you should be playing on the outside of the field. Now, there are some times in which you can stay looking cross and you can get a ton of free kills that way because people will keep trying to fill out when they lose that side. But if you're playing against a really smart team, they won't fill out all the time because they'll know, well, those guys just got chopped up from the inside of the field. I can't move out, otherwise I'm just going to die. And if that's the case, then you're just wasting your time. So anyway, I was trying to tell him, like, no, dude, you got to wrap on the other side of the field. People think upkeep on a field is simple and not much work, but those people have no clue. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, 310.
Definitely feel the 6 a.m. starting in the summer from Arizona. Dude, watch this nasty shot from Sage. This is so unfortunate. Can you believe that? Man, if we were playing 10.5. I'm just kidding. So this is a really good, this is exactly what I'm talking about when like you need to gunfight your way out of a bad situation. So Sage is right here. If you guys don't know, Sage is one of the players that plays on our Summit Pro squad, along with me and Brandon and a few others. And so he knows that he's got to put something together, and the best way you can surprise people is by taking this inside wrap, right? Because it seems very obvious. Like, it seems to, from my perspective, there's no way he can do that because we've got people somewhere on the right side that are going to prevent him from doing so. And in most cases, that is true. But sometimes you don't have a choice. You have to desperate your way out of it. So he takes that inside shot while I have my gun down. So then I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to just put some paint there. These shots were very close. I know that these shots that I had sending his way were very, very, very close. So these shots right here, you can see he and I both flinch. And then I see that he tries to take another snap, but then I can't see this spot right here. Now, knowing Sage, I know that he likes to do this, and I should have put paint there, but it was a great shot. I think he hit me with like his second ball, maybe his third at most, but it was like very quick. Like you can see it. It's 1-2. He hit me with his second shot. You can see that. And if you guys want to know, so that's the semi-pro caliber that you need to expect when you're playing. Okay, if you want to see that in action, go watch my barrel cam footage against us against when we played against Seattle Uprising, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. And actually, Seattle Thunder has, I think, a few clips of that as well. But it just takes 1 to 2 shots from most players, you know, at that level. So we end up winning the point, but that was a really good shot on his part. I think this is the last one, second to last one, maybe. I think we might have already watched this, actually. Yeah, I think we did. Yep, we watched this one already. This is when I went to the 15, got chopped up. So that is it for the barrel cam portion, but we can watch a little bit of sideline footage, I believe. It's not, I don't have any choice over the quality of the video, so you have to forgive me. I'll point out who's me. Oh, also, so quick pause. You guys who are here will actually get to see what my SVP paintball jersey looks like, except that the colors are all wrong, and I'm actually redesigning it a little bit. So that's the other reason why it's getting delayed right now. I'm redesigning it for practical reasons, but this is actually, you guys are going to see what the jersey was supposed to, what is, you know, looks like in its current state, because I'm wearing it. This is me right here in this bunker. So a little bit of a sneak peek, I guess, an inaccurate sneak peek. Okay, you can't see. Okay. I hated this layout too, man. I mean, our layout, as you can see, the middle, the freaking brick is not even on this right side. But our version of this layout was super hacked because we had bunkers that were deflated. They have big holes in them. I know, it's super sad. Guys, remember, before this, we only had one other practice on this layout because our grass was, like, no joke, 2 feet tall, and there were rats in the field that had bitten holes in our bunkers. And so some of this is we're discovering right now that there are big holes in the bunkers, and we just wanted to play because we weren't going to be at the field for too long. Obviously, it's no excuse to not inflate a bunker, but... I got hit in the pack, I thought, and so I was asking for a check. Besides that island in the back, yeah, man. No trees anywhere.
Hey, Tiger 2! Tiger 3! Tiger 4!
Continues in this video. So here's a big mistake that I make, which is that, and it's not any excuse just because we're playing mech. There's literally no reason for this. But part of the problem was I didn't make this move with my gun loaded already. And so by the time I got here and killed Nate, which is who this is right here, I didn't have hardly any paint in my loader, which is a huge mistake because that single mistake is what causes them to break out of this situation. And there's another mistake that I make here as well, but So I'm the widest guy. I literally have no control of this zone right here, which I have absolutely every right to have control of this zone. I could just as easily start putting paint right here, even as I'm loading, instead of giving it up. I was assuming that somebody was chopping up this zone right here because they would be behind me doing that, but I don't know who's behind me exactly, so it's my fault. So now you can see Christian breaks out of the Dorito corner, tries to plug the hole, doesn't get shot by anybody watching him, which is kind of crazy, but I now see he's in this bunker. So the other mistake that I'm making is I literally don't need to be doing this. I can just slide. I can literally go to this cake right here and shoot Brandon for free. He hit the top of my hair. He skimmed the top of my hair, dude. I had to freaking fix my hairstyle. So part of the other thing that I wanted to do that I recognized as soon as I put together it was Christian, there's just again, like, this isn't a smart idea, but I was like, oh, I want to gunfight this. Like, I need to gunfight this. I need to get the practice in. Not because I was trying to prove a point or anything. Christian's really good, but I just knew that I desperately need this practice. So I was trying to gunfight him here. So I'm calling the corner bunker because I'm saying 110. It was not at all that. And we didn't shoot Brandon because that would have not been nice. So I'm here. And this point, oh yeah, bro. Rats love the bunkers. I just replaced a bunch that I had patched last year. $2K later. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're just trying to make it to the end of the season with these bunkers, and then we're probably going to get new ones, but... Here's that point that I talked about earlier. We'll just see it from this angle. Feels like the point went a lot faster when you watch it from the side, but... Sorry, the wind's so loud. So I just got asked if someone asked me, is there still a 150? And I said, I don't think so, because I just heard Tiger the 150. So, and in fact, there isn't somebody at the 150, which is why I decided to make my move. But sure enough, there's a guy in the 150 and he chops up both of us.
Oh, where's that coming from? Oh.
That's Christian. Sure enough. I think he wins the point for him. Anyway. Oh man, this quality's super scuffed. We're almost done. I think there's only one more video after this and then we'll move on to the layouts. Got 6v6, okay.
6 on 6 still.
Oh, this is a different perspective of the barrel cam video we watched. Yeah, man, that quality's scuffed, to be honest with you. I mean, we already watched this. It's essentially just this. So this is actually not a bad play on Will's part, who's right here, because what you see him do is he wins the fight heads up. We can't actually see each other unless he comes out a little farther from his bunker or I come out a little farther. But what his mistake is, see, like that right there, switching is actually a really good idea because you can actually bait out somebody to come run you down by doing that. The thing is, in a real tournament, though, you're probably going to trade out with each other, so it might not even be worth it. But depending on how quickly you are, you actually can probably... What you do is essentially you win the fight ahead. You win the fight heads up, whether it's just a zone you control or you actually challenge the guy, and then you wrap really hard for like 3 balls. on the guy on the inside, and then you pull back and shoot paint right where the guy might come out, because you can bait a guy out really quickly if the dude in the Dorito one is an intelligent player, because what he's going to see is, oh, my teammate's getting shot, and he's probably either going to scream, he's rapping, or something, right? And in which case, I'm going to then challenge him by snapping, but that's how you bait people into those kinds of traps. His problem is he stays on the inside for too long. So then he ends up getting chopped up. And we traded. I still can't believe that. And I think this is the last one. Should be the last one. Oh yeah, I'm all the way up. I'm all the way over here in the snake. Sorry, the buzzer, the air horn absolutely blows out the audio. By the way, if anybody is new here or you haven't done so already, if you're watching the live stream, please click the like button. It helps me out a lot. Thank you. There's no reason not to. So I'm over here. Did you say kill 10? I'm still over here in the 50.
Wallace, head check. He came out full body. Gotta head check that.
I'm now in there, Dorito. This is the point that I thought I filmed that ended up crashing. So Christian gets up to me.
Get out, get out. I killed the 300!
So what happens here, you can actually see me run. You can kind of put it together from the video. So I know that if I wrap, I will shoot the tower guy, essentially. This guy right here, because I know he's living behind his gun. My paint's not shooting where I want it to, but I know that if I wrap, I'll get him. So you'll actually see that I wrap and I cause him to entirely flinch. So he can't do anything. And so as soon as I put that together, all I have to do is go run down the Dorito guy and the point's blown open, which is what I do. I actually don't even get shot. Oh, I get shot by him after. I don't get shot by the Dorito guy, but anyway, I trade out this dude and then it's just this one guy left. So
Hey, lay him out, lay him out. Grab the flag.
I know you're super busy, but that'll be dope.
Grab the flag.
Al, you can't say that. Okay.
Yay.
That is it for the barrel cam video footage. Thanks guys so much for watching. I don't know. There's not really any questions. There's not a whole lot of analysis to There's not a whole lot of analysis to do for those videos, but it's a good start. I'm glad that we have some kind of barrel cam video footage. In the next video, which we'll transition over to here in a second, we'll talk more about some other paintball IQ things as we review the CEPL and the EPL layout. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you're watching this on a YouTube video, please comment. I really need to plan these. I don't care. Comment something. It helps me out a lot. Thanks guys so much for watching, and I'll see you. You should be redirected, but I will link the other stream link to the chat as soon as I'm done. Okay? So hang tight, guys. We're going to be going to a different link. Okay? Here we go. Wait, I don't know if that worked. Hold on. Gotta end the TM40 stream. Oh, wait. CEPL. Not yet. Okay, I think we're in the right spot. I hope we're in the right spot. We'll see how it turns out. We'll all learn together. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Welcome everybody to the CEPL layout review video. Wow, what a perfect song for this. Wait, maybe not. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure it actually switched over. So, do we need to redo this? Hold on. People waiting. Okay, it didn't work, guys. I'm gonna end this stream. I'm gonna start the other one. I'll see you guys over there in a second. Hold on. Wait, end stream and redirect viewers. Dismiss.